This is making face masks.
Step 1.
Okay. This is the pattern piece.
Cut out a template.
It's a small size. We need to cut 4 pieces. So usually it's easiest if you pair it, have it with the right side in, because then it's ready to start cutting straight away. Sorry, start stitching straight away. And I'm cutting it out on the ironing board because I just had to iron the fabric because there was creases in it. So this will make 1/2. And this will fit a child right through to a young adult, making this one for Cassie. So that is 1/2. And I pinned this just on the front curve. You can see on this side that that is the right side. You've got a little bit more of a faint dot to clear it. This one's fluffy because it's inside, make it soft. That's half. We need to do that again. If you have a pattern on your, a print on your fabric, you might need to be a bit more careful about how you lay it out, depending on what you want it to look like on your face. This one only has dots, so it doesn't make much difference.
Also just realised your nails are pink, matching
They
the
do,
fabric.
it blends in with the
It's
fabric. Isn't that
almost
pretty?
like we planned this.
I know, how amazing. If you've got something like this larger floral print, for instance, that you might need to work out how you want to place your pattern. And to make the size a little bigger for an adult like me, I just need an extra 1/2 centimetre on 2 sides, and one for Dad, extra 1/2 centimetre again. So between the small, medium and large, not a great deal of difference. You just need to have it snug against your face, but it can be adjusted with the elastic loops. So that is enough to make 1 face mask. Now we're going to
Cool.
the other room and start sewing.
Let's go. Look, the big sewing machine and the little sewing
This
machine.
one's an overlock. I'm not using the overlocker because it needs a bit of adjustment. I need to have it serviced again. So what we're doing is making a straight seam
Okay.
down the front curve, and that will be the piece that goes
Step
from
2.
between nose and chin.
Straight stitch down the middle.
Except that I've got it on zigzag. There we go.
Good job, Mum.
Straight stitch, reinforce it, going backwards and forwards. This is a 5/8 seam. Again, reinforcing at that end. And again, second piece. This is also the same size on the curve. So you're just making the front seam. And then I'm going to also zigzag it because I don't want the fabric to fray.
Step 2. Wait, 3. Zigzag.
And it helps if you actually put it onto the zigzag switch.
Mum's definitely got a bit of stage fright right now.
Sometimes it just jams up. Sometimes it just jams.
We'll just cut that part out. It's fine.
We will. We'll just chop that little corner off and start again. So I'm actually zigzagging it closed. I'm not opening it out flat. Normally if I was making a dress, what I would do is open out the seam.
That's okay, Mum. This is a mask
Zigzag here and
tutorial.
here.
We don't need to know about
I'm
what
just
you were
saying,
doing.
it's a double seam. It's closed. It's not the open seam. saving thread here, I'm just cutting off a little bit and just running each thread together. You don't have to do this. You can separate it each time if you wish.
Mum's just
What
done
I'm doing
almost
now-
100 of these now because she's just so generous, so she's pretty good at it.
Opening this straight edge is your bottom. We have to zigzag that as well because that's going to have a small opening to turn it through.
So what's that? Step 4 or something? Zigzag
Think
the
we're up
bottom?
for. And again, on the second piece, we also have to zigzag the bottom half when it's open. And then it will run off. Just cut the excess seam, thread. Now this is where we need to add the elastic looping in. So I've got here
Step 5.
5mm elastic, and we need to cut for Cassie's size. I've got a little table here. Cassie needs to have hers at 6.5 inches.
Oh, really? I thought it was 6.
Mhm.
Gosh, my ears must have grown.
Let's measure that loop, and that is one side. Just use that one to cut the second piece.
Are you sure it's 6.5?
I've got here on the table 6 or 6.5, both will work. 2 pieces.
I mean, I just don't want it to be too loose.
It will be fine.
Okay,
So
alright,
this
if it falls on my
piece-
face, I guess I know who to come back to.
On the right side, we're going to pin the elastic
This part is confusing.
because we have to pin it on the right side, and then we have got turning it through. So there's one half. Take the other part of the elastic, pin it to the same side of the mask. One side, the peak is at the top. This is your other side. So other elastic, pin to the second side. That will make your ear loops. So you've now got that ready, so when it turns through you'll have the ear loops out. So to make it fit into a bag, take the second piece.
Bag? What do you mean by that?
It's what when my mum taught me to sew, she said it was bagging it out because you're putting two sides together, turning it through like a little bag.
Right.
So we're putting the two bases together. This gets pinned on the side over the elastic.
Now, when Mum's
Super.
not being filmed, I'll just have it known she can do this in 10 minutes. So this will
Pin
be
the other side.
a bit more demonstrational.
So you've now got both sides pinned over the elastic. The top piece, you can see that when I've stitched it that way, you've got a little bit of an hangover from the side seam. Just trim that off. Same with the other one. So you've just got a triangle, not an extra bit. That becomes your nose piece. Again, pin it there.
Try not to pin yourself.
Try not to pin yourself or you'll bleed all over your fabric. That's not a good look. And it stings.
I love that the first thing you said was that it would ruin the fabric.
Yep.
Not that it would be.
So I've now pinned side, top and side. You need to stitch a little bit along the bottom, so you stitch up to the middle. Make sure that you're pinning it with the elastic inside the pin line so you don't
looks
catch
like
that.
It's coming out.
Oops.
Oh no.
So you can see if I hold it up to the light, you've got the elastic just in here, which is inside the pin line. And I'm going to put a little marker here, just about a centimetre past the seam to seam, just to say stop there because that's going to be our gap. Oops, one of my pins has fallen out. It's a very soft fabric. Okay, so the straight seam, I'm going to have a little bit here of an opening so that you can turn it through. So we're going to start stitching about an inch in.
With a straight stitch.
With a straight stitch, thank you. We'll just turn that back to straight.
I don't know what step we're up to right now, so just follow
Just
along.
go with it. So again, 5/8 of an inch seam. Start with straight seam, reinforce it by going backwards 2 steps. And stop about 5/8 of an inch there. Turn it round on a right angle, so you can just keep one seam going all the way around. Take take your pins out as you go so you don't stitch over them and bend them like a banana. We've got a few like that. Reinforce over where the elastic is by going backwards. This one, so I'll just take that pin out as well, stitch over this one, go backwards and reinforce it.
Forcing the elastic is what we're doing that for.
Spin it round again by lifting your presser foot and turning your fabric. This is up to 1/2 of the front at the top. And you want it to stop on the seam line so you can spin it round at the peak. There's the seam line, spin it round. That way you get a nice neck top. Again, go back to manage all the way around. This is your last side. Oh, sorry. Yes, the last side. Still got a bit on the bottom to go.
Good save.
Reinforce it by going backwards over the elastic on the second side. Pinch the elastic in so that the pins are going sideways across so that the sewing machine needle hopefully will not get broken. Last little bit. This is along the bottom of the mask. And go a little bit over the middle. And again, reinforce by going backwards. Lift your presser foot. Then I just cut off all these little excess ends. And again, you need to go around the zigzag edge of the straight sides you've just done. And I do have a bin down there, but I do tend to miss a bit. There's a lot of threads on the floor. Yes. Okay, so now we have to zigzag those edges.
Because we already did the bottom.
We did the bottom. We did that separately because there will be an opening for turning it through. Zigzag all the way around now. Again, you need to leave your needle in the fabric, as most people would know, before you turn it around, otherwise it will be loose and you do not know what's going to happen. Whenever you've got to change an angle, leave the needle in the fabric and then just turn it around. Or lifting the presser foot. I'm doing the zigzag as a closed seam rather than a flat seam. Cut off all the excess ends for your thread. And you can see that there is there's a little bit of thread that got stuck in the sewing. There we go. You see there's a tiny little opening there, that's what you turn it through. So you just start pushing it all the way through. If a thin fabric like this one, it's easy to push through. A thicker one like a heavy cotton drill will take a little bit more pushing through. Just poke out the corners as much as you can so that you get a neat corner. Same thing with the point at the top, the peak over your nose. And then to close this opening neatly, we have to stitch it. So we're going to do an oversew all around the outside edge. Again, pinning as you go. And that will be about 1/4 of an inch that we sew inside with a straight seam.
That was Mum just changing the dart because she's
dial from zigzag to straight.
Got to remember to keep the right one.
A number of times I've started doing zigzag when it's supposed to be straight. Undo those 2 stitches and start again. Now to make this neatly fit around your face, you do need to put a pleat on each side, otherwise you're going to have a gap on the side of your face. So just about a centimetre.
I was going to say it's a real tiny inch.
Roughly a centimetre. You can fold it up from the bottom or down from the top. I have been doing it down from the top, but because it's reversible, it will also be up from the bottom. Pin that as you go, and then I just check side to side just to make sure it's in about the same place and it's about the same distance top to bottom. And then you start stitching in the direction of your pin line. Start in about 1/4 of an inch. I usually gauge it by the edge of my presser foot and put that on the edge of the fabric. And again, reinforce by going backwards a couple of stitches. taut as you go. Sometimes it does get a bit of a bubble, but it's only a face mask, so it's not like it's a dress that everyone's going to be looking at.
It's on your face. Everyone's going to be looking at it,
It's not
Mum.
like it's a dress. See? Again, flip your corner. Get to the pleat and take your pin out, or you will be getting banana shaped pins if you stitch over them.
Almost all of ours are banana shaped now.
We figured that out. Just gotta take your pins out as you go. Again, when you get to this top bit on the nose peak, make sure you stop at the seam line with the needle in and flip it to turn it round that other angle. And we also have a little bit of a thread here. We need to cut that off before you get to the end, otherwise you won't be able to see where you're going to cut it. One last little bit. Reinforcing it back. And you're done.
All done.
There you go, so it fits this way. Ta-da!
Wonderful.